This is Jackie.
And this is Heather.
And
welcome to Millennial Mom Chatter, your go-to podcast for candid conversations and fresh perspectives.
We're just two millennial moms navigating life one hilarious audio message at a time. Join us for laughs, adventures, and real talk.
Welcome to Millennial Mom Chatter. We're excited to be here.
Definitely happy to be back. Another week, another episode.
Yes. So how are you this week?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic because we've finally hit the halfway point of Tony's deployment. So it kind of feels like we're like on the downhill of this whole solo parenting, being by yourself situation. So it's been nice. And then we're so close to going back to school with the kiddos that's going to like really make the time speed up. Like every day is just going to like fly by. So I'm feeling good.
Good.
How are you?
That's exciting that he's like, we're like not nearing the end, but you're getting closer.
Yep.
And props to you because it's very hard. And
but too, you do a lot of solo parenting yourself.
Yeah, but like I do a lot of solo parenting often, but like shorter, and you just do for like long stretches. And that is hard. Like her husband will be gone a total of, 8 months or 7 months?
Right now we'll be closer to 7 months. Hopefully not 8 months. So we're hoping that it sticks to like the normal date. And nothing getting extended. But you know how it is.
No, but I appreciate you because it's not just him serving, you are serving as well. So,
well, thank you for your support.
Thank you for your service, ma'am. But I'm doing good. This past week has been a lot, and Alvaro worked all week, so solo parenting, and stuff with my dad. So we just been like, juggling that, but good. Hanging in there, excited for our vacation. We are a week and a half out, and
that's so exciting. That's just around the corner.
Yeah, and I spoke to my brother Jason, and he is like the same mode as me. Like we need a vacation, and so hopefully I'm good at separating and like leaving things kind of like on land. Since we're going to cruise on land, I'm able to like leave stuff and not think about it. My brother, it's going to probably be a challenge for him to do that, but I'm hoping that all of us being able to just kind of like leave everything on land, that he'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
just so
I'm
he
excited.
can enjoy his trip. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's not like mentally still like wheels turning the whole time.
Yeah, because we all need that. We're like ready. But other than that, my kids are crazy and hitting the like summer. What is it called when they hit that point? Like they hit the wall in the summer where it's like you got to go back to school.
I don't know. There should be a title for that though, because I think every kid hits that point eventually during the summer break.
Yeah, it's too much. Like they're they're getting to the point where they're antsy. Like what are we gonna do? Like, and I'm just like, we're going on like a great vacation a week and a half. Like, what do you mean? What are we gonna do? Yeah. And of course, it's been like storming here and. Weather's not great, and so they've gone in the pool pretty much every day this summer, so they're kind of like, not that they're over it, they still go in it pretty much every day, but they're kind of like, but we went in the pool the past 45 days.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
we want to do something different. Like, what activity do you have planned for us? Like,
yeah. And I am not a germaphobe at all, and we actually have pretty good immune systems in our family, but I've heard that like a lot of things like strep throat and all these things are going around right now. And I ain't trying to go, like, they want to go to, like, Dave & Buster's or bowling and stuff like that. And I'm just like, no.
Or, like,
because
the one that the big cities have, like, all the children's museums. Where they have all the touchy things.
Yes.
And I'm just like, nah, let's pass on that. Let's pass
and normally
on, like,
I'd
what
be
virus are we coming home with in 72 hours? Like,
right. And normally I would just not care. I'm just like, it's fine. Usually we don't get sick places like that. But... Yeah. I'm like, we have a trip in a week and a half, and there's 5 of us in our family. So what happens is somebody gets sick, and then it just, like, not always, but the possibility is it could go through all 5 of us, and then there's a couple of us sick on vacation. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
No, it's too risky. It's too close.
Like, yeah, and then my dad obviously is not doing well, so we're not trying to get anybody sick. So I'm just... like, I'm so sorry that you guys are not doing much right now, but it is what it is. Like,
no, because I definitely get that for the vacation. I try to do stuff like that as well, where it's like, how can we decrease our risk of catching something literally 5 days before we got on an airplane, a cruise ship, confined quarters with other family members in Airbnb, like whatever
Yeah.
we can do to eliminate that risk. 'Cause that's a pain in the butt. No one wants to
Yeah.
have like the one random sick person. Like,
Yeah.
So I give you props for that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
It's the
normally
right
we're
choice.
pretty good, but I'm just like not willing to risk it. Like so many people tell us like, "Oh, I always get sick when I get off a cruise ship." I don't know if we've ever gotten sick on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Like I've never gotten sick. Or like how people go to Disney, they're like, "Oh, I picked something up at Disney." We've never gotten sick like
Yeah.
after a vacation. It's always from
there's
school or
definitely
something.
like, there's the people that are like, the finger lickers after they get off an amusement park ride and stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's pretty dirty. But then also there's the people that have the weaker immune systems, I'm sure too. That plays a part for some of these people. Because I definitely have a handful of friends too where I'm like, wow, like you're always sick. Like,
Yeah.
stay away.
Yeah, for real. I know. I'm not one of those people, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, my kids are just they're getting to that point. And so
Yeah. Or they need
school
to go play
better
outside.
come quick. But I
Like,
just
leave me
wish
alone.
I wish that we could throw them outside like the old days. Like why can't we all agree as a society to go back to the old days of like go ride your bike with the 5 other people your age and go hang out and come back in when it's dark. Like, and I think we've built this this concept. I don't know who started it,
Yeah.
but we built this like thinking, and it's
Yeah.
gone through everybody. It's not just like here and there. Is that it's unsafe compared to back then.
Yep.
But like
we have a new irrational fear of our kids being outside by themselves.
Yes.
Because of the amount of information. We have too much information being tossed at us.
Exactly.
So
it's
it's
news,
scary.
social media, all of the like Datelines and murder documentaries and all this kind of stuff. And we didn't have cameras back then. I'm like, actually,
No.
I think it's actually kind of safer now. Like,
Yeah. Everyone
I
has a
don't
Ring
know.
camera. So like if there's a
Exactly.
kid riding their bike down the street,
Exactly.
like 5 people can drop into the
Yes.
neighborhood chat and be like, yes, I saw little Billy. I saw
Yes.
him pass my house at exactly this time. Like,
yeah. And so many have phones. I mean, I didn't have a cell phone until I was 17. And I was like 11 and 12 years old, like riding my bike 5 miles away. And my
Yeah.
mom would know the general vicinity I was in, but she
Yeah.
didn't know where I was. And like if something
no, we'd
happened,
be gone all day long.
yeah,
Super far away, and then all you could rely on was calling the house phone of a friend, and that was it. So, but they knew where we were. And
Yeah.
it was gonna be fine.
And so if something happened, then you would have to just like leave your friend and go home and be like, Heather got hurt.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Her knee.
Yeah. So I just
But
feel
while
like
I'm here, can I have a Capri Sun? Okay.
exactly. But I think that now it's like there's cameras everywhere. People have cell phones. Like you can get your little kid either a cell phone or the little watch that you're like, hey, where you at? You're good? Yeah, I'm good, Mom. Okay, cool. And back then we didn't have that. So I feel like it's safer now, but we have this illusion that it's more unsafe. And so nobody lets their kids do it. And so I've kind of followed along, right? Because
Yeah.
not because I want to, but now there's nobody for him to go out and be
Yes.
a group and do this. Because
You don't want your kid just walking down the street by themselves. Like,
Exactly.
that doesn't work. 'Cause
Exactly.
We didn't do that. We were safe because we were literally running around the streets with other friends. And we
right.
were
Like
always in
I would ride
groups,
my
like,
bike around the neighborhood by myself,
Yeah.
but like
to
it was
go to
just
your friend's house or something.
it was just my neighborhood or whatever, but I wasn't like going 5 miles away, in the farm fields like by myself.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird concept because I don't know where we got this illusion from. I guess it just naturally happened that people started fearing because of like news and TV and all that kind of stuff. But like, I almost find a lot of people disagree with me. So this is the hot take. But like back then, like I said, was more unsafe in my opinion. No cell phones, no cameras. Like back then, think about the 70s and 80s, how many like serial killers there were.
Yeah.
Like,
how easy it was to snatch a kid.
yeah.
Like you
and no
could,
one would know.
No one would know. There was no DNA testing back then either, so there was no like fingerprints on a bicycle, like that stuff. Like they didn't have anything. It was kids gone. Sorry. Like,
Yeah, pretty
now
much.
It's like who's kidnapping a kid today? Like that's a mistake. There's too many cameras.
It happens, but
Yeah.
I find that, and also a lot of the kidnappings, They do happen. Don't get me wrong. And in third world countries, they definitely happen
of
a lot more
course.
than here. But a lot of like the kidnapping like alerts you get, it's always one of the parents.
Yes, it's somebody that you know, like, or that
It's
they know, like.
right. It's like they're divorced parents. Like one of them probably has like sole custody of them, and the other parent that doesn't took them. And so, not that kidnappings don't happen, they do, but I just don't think they happen like as often that people think. And if you're in a group of kids, like all these kidnappings that happened back in the day also happened when the person was just like poor little, Annie was riding her bike by herself. It wasn't like a group of 10 kids and one person got stolen.
No.
So I just wish that we could go back to those days and
Yeah.
our kids would be more mature. We've lost maturity because of this. Like, Rylan would just like probably get hit by a car by himself because he just has no awareness.
They're like street smarts. I feel like a lot of kids now, because they're not outside playing and they're not like, disappearing until the street lights come on. They don't have that sense of like, hey, like, what's happening in my surroundings? This person's sketchy. Maybe we should all just stay together. Like, they don't. I feel like that's just been kind of taken away from the kids because they don't play outside.
Yeah.
Like
Like
just
we
don't know what to
were
do.
way more mature back then
Yeah.
than we are now.
Yeah.
And I just wish we could get back to that.
Yeah,
Like
for
I
sure.
want everyone to be on board so that I can let my kid grow up like I grew up.
Yes.
But I have to almost conform because I need a
Because there's
group
no
of
one
kids.
for them to play with. No.
Yeah.
Because I always think about it too. I'm like, I want to send Liam and Dylan outside, but in honesty, there's no one for them to play with because everyone else is doing the same thing, where the kids
Yeah.
are stuck inside. They don't want to send
Yeah.
them out, so there's no one for them
Yeah,
to play
and
with.
then you get the like, especially if they're by themselves and not in a group, you get the like, oh, is this somebody's kid riding? Like,
Yes,
like
in the
you're a
neighborhood
bad
chat.
parent.
Yeah.
You're a bad
Your kid
parent.
shouldn't be riding their bike by themselves. So why are they out there alone? Like, who is that?
Like,
And I'm like, that's
is
my
this
kid.
anybody's
Like,
kid? Are they supposed to be doing this? Like,
Yeah.
yes. So I think Rylan is getting to the age now that I hope people are starting to like feel comfortable with their kid, that they're at the age now, because Rylan's 11. So I'm hoping the 11, 12, I'm going to probably text soon, maybe like a group chat, like our neighborhood group chat. We have like a WhatsApp, and just be like, hey, is there any like 11, 12, 13-year-olds like that want to go bike and like have fun? And
Yeah.
even if
And
they
go to
stay
each
in our
other's
neighborhood.
houses or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Play outside.
But then I have me being more conservative with my parenting, I guess. I have this worry that I'm like, but what are their kids like? Like, because now
Yeah.
I'm starting to see people's kids and I'm just like, the mouths on them,
Yeah.
the things they talk about. I'm just like, you're joking, right? Like when we were on our cruise, like how they were acting was like,
Yeah.
I would never want my kid to like take on that behavior.
No, for sure. It is different because
So-
it's the same thing. We have this stimulation of information for potential stuff that can happen to our kids. They're also getting bombarded with information sooner than when we learned stuff. They
Right.
have social media. They have all of this stuff that kids are learning stuff much younger now. And like, I feel like our kids have been a little bit shielded with just
Yes.
their upbringings, the way that we've parented, the schools that they attend, the programs that they're involved in. So then to have them go play with someone where the parents are okay with them having access to all this information.
Right.
They're going to talk and they're going to share, and our kids are going to come home with stuff. And it is a little like what's the right thing to do here? Like, what's
I
the
know.
appropriate step?
And
Like,
and I understand that like when it comes to high school and all that kind of stuff, like I feel like by high school age, hopefully, right, we've
Yeah.
like grounded them enough and they've learned how to act and manners and like what is right and what is wrong
Yes.
and all that kind of stuff. But right now, like especially at Rylan's age, like he's 11, right? And he's just starting middle school, and it's like he's just a sponge right now. He hasn't
Yes.
fully made who he is yet. He doesn't know fully who he is yet. He's discovering himself and doing all that. So
yeah, they're very impressionable at that age.
Yeah,
Like, that's
so-
a very like soft age, I feel like.
right. And so I'm just like, I don't know if it's like, and I'm, you know me, I'm not a helicopter parent at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those, like, you want to fly off the couch or the bed and do a front roll, go for it. Like I am
Yeah.
not a helicopter parent whatsoever. But I find myself that maybe I'm a helicopter parent in that sense. Because I'm just like, I don't know what they're going to say. Like, most kids nowadays, unfortunately, have like cell phones at his age. And like, what are they watching on there? Like, what are they going to watch on there when I'm not around with him? What is he going to see? What is, what are they talking about? What words is he going to come home with? Because like, I don't even know if my kids fully know all the bad words. Like, I really don't think they do. Yeah. And so like, just little things that I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Yeah. And I just wish that we could find like, I don't know, like a group of, people from his school, like lived in our area or I don't know.
For sure. Cause that would make play dates that much easier too. Cause then you would know that the background of those fellow families would be very similarly aligned to how you guys are parenting him.
Yeah.
So it would be less scary to like coordinate a play date for that. Yeah.
No, for sure.
I'll be in a lot of people could relate to that. Like,
yeah, I'll be in the WhatsApp chat. Like, so like if your kids don't have potty mouths and have cell phones and whatever, then you're for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you're for us. Cause I just, like I live in Miami and it's just not the most like conservative of places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a little nerve wracking. And I don't know, you could tell me if I'm being like a helicopter parent, but
I don't think that's being helicopter parenting. I think that's a normal thing that a lot of parents across the nation could probably like express a concern for because it's relatable. That is a thing. That is a concern. Technology and social media, because it's so available to our young children, it's a very valid concern. And they have access to it. It's not like you can lock them in their rooms and keep them away from the internet. So they're going to have access to this stuff, and then these kids are going to share what they find, especially if it is naughty and it's interesting and it's something that they know they're not supposed to be looking at.
Right.
So it's valid. And I don't know, like, the appropriate way to navigate that, because it's like I feel like we found each other, but it was through the school. So it was like it worked out, because then we knew that, like, okay, like, what are our kids exposed to? They're exposed to the same stuff. So this should work out for them to be friends and not be off, sneaking around trying to do naughty stuff. So
yeah,
now that Ryland's the older one, like, that is hard, because generally, like you said, most of them are going to have access to like a phone or something back at their houses. Yeah. So
maybe we can just swap houses so often, like, because like I know there's two boys from school, one's in Jax's class, one's in Ryland's class. I won't say their name, you know them, but they do kind of play in their neighborhood out and about.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe he can go over there and kind of like go with them, because they know their neighborhood and they do it already. Yes. So like expose like that. And then when he gets comfortable, like start like letting him do it in our neighborhood. And then like they can come over and like kind of do it that way, where it's like people I know and they can kind of swap neighborhoods. So that's an idea. But
also because we know that family too, and I feel like they're normal as well. Yes. So I feel like if they trust their kids to go play with these other neighbor boys, to go play soccer in the soccer field next to their house, like, then I imagine like your son would also enjoy this and feel comfortable with this group of people. So I feel like that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, so that's my plan, but I don't know. It's just wild, like, societies. Like, is this concept, I don't think it is, but is this concept worldwide, or is it just US? Because I really think it's just US that has this mindset that we can't let our kids play outside. Because I feel like if you go to, like, I don't know, England or whatever, or even sometimes in like New York City, there's like 13, 14-year-old groups that are like going on the subway all around the city.
Yes. No, that's true. And they're very like street smart. Like, they've navigated the public transportation system. And I'm like, what? I would never let Liam ride on a subway by himself. Like, I just couldn't fathom him being like, oh yeah, I know what I'm supposed to press. I know where I'm supposed to go. Like,
yeah.
No.
I don't know. I just think worldwide, like, where is it that they leave the little strollers outside?
Oh, yeah. So in some of the European countries, like Norway, they actually leave their prams outside of like the bakeries and like the coffee shops and stuff.
And
so
go shop and go eat.
Yeah, and then they'll pop in, go have a cup of coffee or tea with their friends, go get what they need from the shops, and then they'll come back outside. And all the prams will be lined up against the wall.
Of like babies sleeping.
Yes, yeah. And then but they say it's also good for their immune systems. Like, they're getting that fresh air. So I think it's like they're claiming it has multiple benefits. And then they're self-soothing as well, because mama's not always right there. Like, of course, it's not like they're neglected and the moms don't come back out to take care of their babies. But it's a sense of like, you can be alone. Like you don't need
Yeah,
to
you
constantly
can
be
go
held by
pop
your
in
mother.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right. And leave your
Yeah.
stroller while your baby's sleeping and
Yeah.
go get your coffee and come back and not have to
And
bring it
it
in the
won't be
store.
missing.
And it's
Yeah.
and I think it probably also stemmed from like space, right? Because like old school like strollers used to be like really big, and like spaces in Europe are not big. So like if you go in a
Yes.
coffee shop and there's 3-4 people strollers, like that's it. No one can walk.
No, that's actually a thing too. Because I mean, you see it even in like an amusement park like Disney. There's pram parking because of that. Like there's
I
not
love the
space for
pram
people to,
park.
Yeah,
What
that's
is
Europe.
it?
That's a European thing. So instead of,
like,
because that's how they
pram.
described it too, is all the prams are lined up outside of the
Yeah.
cafe. But the same idea. So the strollers are all lined up outside
Yeah.
of an amusement park ride because there's just no space, and so it's okay. And we should be able to trust our fellow people that they're not going to steal our stuff. They're not going to
Yeah.
steal our baby. So I don't
And
know.
I don't think that anyone would steal our baby either here. I just
Yeah.
think that you would look like a bad mom because
if
it's
I
not
went
normal
into a
here.
cafe and left my baby sitting outside, and they were content too, right? Like I had the parking brake on, baby sitting there fully content, like not crying or anything. I definitely would get like, oh my gosh, whose baby's outside? Like, I just don't
Yeah.
think Americans could roll with it at all. Like,
I
we're
don't
just
know why we
we're
haven't-
very high strung too, compared to some other countries. I think a lot of Europeans would even say that about Americans. Like we're very fast paced and high strung. We're not really like laid back to just be like, oh, it's fine. I'll be outside to grab the baby in a minute. He'll be okay. Like that's not an American like way of life at all.
No. And I think it used to be, I'm
Yes.
very old school where like I'm very chill with my parenting. Like I'm just like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like face plant, I'm like, you're good. Just get up. You're
Yeah.
fine.
Walk it off.
And I'm,
like-
yeah, and I'm all about the cried out method. Like once
Yes.
my kid sleeps through the night, oh honey, you showed
Yeah.
me you can do it. I'm not picking
Yes.
you up.
No.
So I'm all about that parenting, but I guess American society is not.
No, your fellow parents would not appreciate you treating your child like that. Like,
Leaving, I'm gonna just next time I go, I'm just leave my stroller outside.
yeah. Like let Callie sit outside of the bakery by herself. See how many people come and tap you on the shoulder. Like, who's baby? Who's toddler? Who's child? Who is that out there? Like,
Yeah, and it's so wild that society, like here in the US, has done that because so like if I had to go to the bathroom, right, and I was by myself, I would not bring my stroller into the bathroom stall. I would
No.
leave it out.
Yes.
And I feel like even then, people would walk into the bathroom and be like, whose baby's just sitting here? And it's like,
yeah.
can I really not trust, like, that no woman is going to come in here and just, like, take my baby, like, right
I guess it
outside of
is
the stall from
crazy.
me?
Yeah, I forget about that because I had my 2 under 2 was when we were in Australia. So I actually would leave the pram outside the stall while I would use the restroom because it's not going to fit. Like we had a double. It wasn't going to fit
Yeah.
in the stall with me.
No.
And I guess I didn't even think about it that like I literally was just leaving my baby right there. I mean, I'm going pee, so I physically would see a wheel roll away if they were trying to kidnap my child. Like,
Don't
yeah,
take
I'm
my
like,
child!
seriously, like, I can see you through the crowd. I'm making eye contact with you as you kidnap my child. Like, but it's wild because it's like I didn't even think about that. Like that, I did technically leave my kid for the taking, like in a sense,
Yeah.
like in a really like tiny way. But
I did too, and
Yeah.
I felt like occasionally I would come out and kind of see a person waiting in the bathroom, like,
where they're like washing their hands and they like look at you like,
yeah, like, oh, I didn't
you
know
left your
who
kid
left
there.
their kid here.
yeah. Like, I just want to see what bad mom left their child sitting there unattended. Like,
Yeah. But I did it, and I did it
Yeah.
just very confidently, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's fine. They're going to be
yeah, I
fine.
don't know. And you always see this stuff too in like the mommy blogs where it's like, what are we supposed to be doing with the carts when we come to the car? Like when you have a baby that you've moved from now the cart to the car seat. Because then technically, like, are you leaving your groceries unattended? Are you leaving your purse unattended? Are you leaving the child unattended? So that's like the other thing too, is like people are like, you can't be leaving the kid there. You know, are you leaving the cart on the side of the car and not returning it to the cart bay because now you don't want your kid to get kidnapped? And I'm like, when has this become a thing? Like so much so that like we can't even take 1 second to like walk around the car, put the groceries in, and know that like our kid would be okay. Like for 1
Yeah.
second, like
I just lock my car and leave. Like,
yeah,
even,
same.
I mean, I would even go into, like, the store.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
Like, the car's on.
yeah,
They're getting AC.
If anything, they're
nowadays,
the safest people here. Like,
yeah, nowadays they're like watching a movie on the screen.
Yeah.
And I lock the car, and they like that's it. It's so funny because when I would drop off the boys to school, they would just be like, oh, they always thought for some reason every day I would do drop off and pick up, right? And they always thought like, oh, just Callie's like at home with Alvaro, and I'm just like, no, she's in the car, like,
yeah.
like. And they're
She's
like,
sleeping.
oh my gosh,
She's
by
happy.
herself? And I'm like,
Yeah.
she's in a car seat. Number one, she's little. She's like one. She
Yeah.
did not know how to, those things are like hard to take off.
Yeah, and no, any like toddler and below is like doing anything with that.
No.
Like,
And I was like, she doesn't know how to take that off. She has AC and the car's locked. Like, what's the
in
problem?
a school parking lot. Like, and the school parking lot for your campus too is in the center of all of the buildings. So what is happening to her? Like, there is nothing happening to her because everyone has eyes on that vehicle. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I mean, I still, like, I leave my kids in the car today when I go in the store.
It's almost easier to do anything, like just to leave
Yeah.
them versus get out, get back in. Like, yeah, for sure.
And
For
braved.
me, it blows my mind. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to have a baby today with the way that we've gone so extreme. With
No.
like, you can't leave your baby. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, I'm just like, what am I
No,
supposed
and
to
there's
do?
so many
Like,
useless, like, not tools, but like accessories, and that you're just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
can we just go back to like the one that I think was, it didn't exist with Rylan, I don't think, but maybe with Jax it did. Was one of the failed things that cost like, I want to say it was like $400 that like everyone went in on and was like gung ho for it, and every baby hated it, was the Mamaroo.
oh, the Mamaroo. We had one of those.
And everyone I know is like trying to get rid of it because they're like, my kid doesn't care for it. Like every single one.
Liam preferred the swing, like the regular
Yes.
idea of this,
Yeah.
over the Mamaroo.
The old
But the
school.
Mamaroo worked for Dylan. So I did hear it's preferential on kid too, because then we ended up passing it off to another mom, and her second kid liked it as well. So I think it is definitely the preference of the kid. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
suggest any new mom go out and buy this thing. If you can get it
No.
used from a previous mom, then that's the best way to do it. If you want
Yeah.
to try it out, like,
I think the old school swing is like almost every kid likes. It is more cumbersome, right? It's more
Yes.
like, but
ugly, it's not aesthetic, and I think that's why people liked the Mamaroo, because it was more streamlined and aesthetic, and then you can also hook your phone up to it. So the fact that it was like Bluetooth capable and you could like run it without even having to get up, it was like, I get it. I get what you guys were trying to do here, like, and then the minimalism of the mobile as well. Like, the whole thing was like, they
I
were
just
trying
don't
to
think it
target
has
us.
enough
Like,
oomph.
no, because all it did the figure 8, the waves, and then just obviously side to side. So then it's like, if a kid doesn't want that, like, then you're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like most people I know were like, help.
Yeah.
Like, who wants this?
Who wants to
Because,
buy this off
and I
me
just
so
don't
can
think
now
they're
go buy a
popular
normal
anymore.
one for half the price? No, I don't feel like I see it. I
No.
think
It
one's
was a
buying
flop.
that. Yeah.
Like, I think the few kids liked it, but it was a flop overall. And it's
Yeah.
just like, I feel like there's so much stuff like that now. It's just like,
Yeah. Well,
it's
'cause
so
they're
much
trying to
stuff.
target- yeah, compared to, I feel like if you asked our moms what they had for raising us as kids, they probably had like so minimal, like just
Mm-hmm.
the essentials, just the basics, and we're fine. So it's like, I feel bad for like the newer moms as they just are getting bombarded with so much stuff. Like, buy this, buy that, your kid needs this, and really they don't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all back to the basics. Like,
Yeah, like I find one of the other popular ones, Playpen. It's just
Oh, yeah.
storage.
yes, yeah.
Like, I changed I have a 2-story house. So, like,
Yeah.
the idea is, oh, your kid could sleep there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you change the diaper, blah, blah, blah. And it all ends up being that, like, your kid's sleeping on the couch or on you or in a carrier, and then you change the diaper on the couch or the floor. Or, like it always was storage for, like, extra diapers or, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I used it very far and few in between.
I think we used it a lot for traveling. So we took the pack and play with us.
Yes,
everywhere.
but I
So
did
think
a
that
pack
thing
and
was in the
play.
car.
I bought a travel pack and play.
Okay.
And so that was the one I used. But like having it up in your living room just all the time, it was just
No,
like,
we didn't do
why?
that. Yeah.
Why?
No.
I don't understand. But that's like the number one thing, when you get it, like, oh, get your pack and play.
Yeah. I would say it was beneficial for us just for traveling, and that was it. Like, because then it was nice to have all those attachments. But not to have one upstairs, one downstairs, like they're trying to tell moms to do now. So in other news, which I'm sure you've seen all over everything, everything that's going on with like the world and politics. Do you have any thoughts of like what's going on? All in the past 48 hours, I feel like so much has happened. Like,
honestly, it's wild. And I think because of social media, there's just so many opinions.
yes.
And so many thoughts, and people have their conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff. I think it's wild. I think it's sad that we live, in a society right now that this stuff needs to happen. But I guess it's nothing new in the sense that, they're kind of saying like, we're so divided, right, that this is occurring. But at the same time, like, this is not the first attempt at assassination of a president or an actual assassination. Like, it has happened before. So I don't know how much, like, I do agree we're divided 100%.
Yeah.
But like, this is probably not the last attempt, and it's not the first.
No, certainly not.
So it's unfortunate that it happened, and it's just wild that like in a week and a half, like, attempted assassination, president drops out of the running, and they're saying now Kamala's running, and I won't go into too much what I think, but to keep it nice and peaceful, because we all have our opinions. But I think that there's a lot of people that don't like her. So I don't know how, like, if the Democrats want to pick somebody that has a chance and is a good runner, I don't think it's her.
Yeah, so I will say, I think the way that they went about this, it took away the opportunity for somebody to step up. So for Harris now, like, it's great. Like, I think I'm a little torn because I'm excited because she's younger. So this is what we've always wanted, was we've had two old dudes. Because that's, like, been my biggest thing is, like, why do we have these old dudes? Like, where can we do a little bit differently? Like, where are our millennials at? Like, our elder millennials. Like, we're coming up now. Like, that's our age group who could be running into political positions. So for me, I'm like, okay, Harris, thank you for she turned 60 this fall. So I'm like, that's great. So at least we have an able-bodied person that's on the sheet of paper. But then, like I said, we didn't really have a chance to, like, the Democrats didn't get to pick anybody. So it's kind of an interesting that, like, now she's the person. And
I mean, somebody can come in and run.
Yeah.
I don't know who will do that.
Yeah, because now she's the endorsed one, so of course other people could certainly, like, come in.
But endorsed by an incompetent person, so doesn't say very much.
But then also, I think too, this is what we've wanted for a really long time as well. It's 2024. Like, it's exciting now to see a woman again. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, I think it's kind of exciting. It's like a revolution again. That, like, same with Obama. I loved that. Then, like, he added diversity to the ballot as well. Like, and I know we shouldn't be looking at it as just like physical and, what you're born with attributes coming onto the ballot sheet, but, like, we've just had two old dudes for so long. So I feel like coming in with, like, a new perspective could be what we need. Like, not to say that, like, I'm like, oh, I'm voting for Harris, but just, I feel like it's kind of exciting because better her than Biden. I kind of feel like, if we're going to talk about, like, the lesser of two evils, like,
I don't know how I feel about a woman president, and this is why I'll say. I think they are competent, and I think there are things that they're going to be better at, right? They're going to be better at, like, juggling a bunch of different things at one time. That's, like, one of our specialties. But I am
we
kind of on
certainly can multitask. Yeah.
Yes, but I can. This is a hot take. I can agree with a lot of men that I think women are too emotional. I think there's too much, like, the reality is at an age that most likely a woman's going to get office, it's like menopausal, and I just think it's not ideal. It's not that a woman can't do it. I just think there's a lot of things that, like, factor in that sense. Yeah. And I think we can be emotional when at times when you're a president, there's no time for the emotions. Like, you just got to act and do it.
It has to be separate. Like, that's the part of the job. It has
right.
to
and
do
I
with how
don't
you feel
think
as a person.
Right. And I don't think women are very good at that. So it's not that a woman can't do it. It's not like I'm not saying I would never vote for a woman, because it depends
Yeah.
who's running and
course.
like, and if their beliefs match with mine and all that kind of stuff. I just think that when it comes to that side of being a little bit more sound, a man can do the job probably better.
Yeah, I
But
just
that could
think
be a
also
hot take.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a very fair argument because that's true.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people would side with that just because they know women. Like no matter how much we want to say like, oh no, I wouldn't be emotionally invested if something catastrophic happened to the country. I promise. Like I won't. But then like I can keep it detached. But you know, deep down in our core as women, we are the motherly, like intuitive people. So it's going to be something that's going to naturally occur when she's up on the podium. So we
Yeah.
could see that. And that could be
Yeah.
problematic for some people when they're looking at the ballot and trying to make a decision because they know
Yeah.
it could be challenging. But I
No,
feel
for
like
sure.
she could add interesting perspective, though, for typically female-related problems. So I think that's always interesting, too, like reproductive rights, our rights as women in the workforce. So I'm always so curious about their opinions when it comes to stuff that matters to us. Because the thing that always drove me so nuts was, this is getting like really in the weeds, but like when men want to talk about abortion rights and IVF and birth control. And I'm like, that hasn't, like when they try to demand that something should go a particular way. And I'm like, you have nothing to do with this. You're not the person that's getting a pap smear. You're not the person that's trying to like get birth control or the morning after pills. So I just feel like, how can you claim a right on something that has nothing to do with you? So I feel like having a woman's perspective, I feel like I'm excited for, because I feel like this could bring change for us as women, potentially. Like,
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, there's also like a beliefs of right or wrong, and you don't have to be a female to like determine whether you think like aborting is, you know, okay or not. I feel like
Yeah.
that could be, but again, that's a hot take.
Yeah.
I think that like men should be able to have like say whether they think it's okay, whether like their baby or somebody else's, like a human life is allowed to be aborted or not. But I don't know. I feel like, female vice president is cool. Like you have a lot of say, you have a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
You can, like I wouldn't want, I know this might be too much, but I wouldn't want like both. Say if there was a female president, I would hope she would pick a male vice president.
Oh yeah, I agree. Because I feel like that would balance
Yeah.
them out. Like as far
Right.
as like, hey, I know that this is something people care about.
I know you're
Maybe this is
PMSing
not.
right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or just any of that, like the topics, emotionalness, like
Yeah.
being a mom, like all of that would come into play. And I think that could be self-sabotage if you had two women like supporting each other up there. So
Yeah,
I agree.
girl.
Like, yeah, like yes, queen, that's fine. That might ruin the country, but that's fine. You look cute doing it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm gonna guess that Harris will not be the nominee. That's gonna be my guess.
Okay.
I think that Democrats are gonna come out with somebody else, and because don't they still have to vote
yes, I think so.
Like, they still
I don't
have
think
to
that's-
vote
Yeah.
whether they want Harris or another
to be
Democrat?
the Democratic nominee.
Yeah, I'm
And I
pretty
don't
sure
think
they have
that
to
has
vote.
happened yet formally. I don't
No,
think so.
no. So I think that just based on what I've heard and what I've seen, I just don't think that I'm not sure if anyone has a chance. They're not well oiled right now. Like they're really just all over the place when it comes to like this threw a huge wrench, right? Like
Yeah.
for the longest time, you know, Biden said he was running, and now at not the last minute, but kind of the last minute is already like, sorry guys, not going to do it.
Yeah.
So they're kind of all disorganized right now. So I'm not sure if anyone against Trump has a chance, but my guess is it won't be Harris as the nominee. But who knows? Maybe we'll all be surprised.
I mean, we honestly, we don't know anything because of the way that the last week has rolled out. Like,
Yeah, for real.
If anyone had asked me for my 2024 bingo card, if I would predict any of this, no, I'm out. I already lost. Like,
No, for sure.
been a
And
wild
usually election years, don't get me wrong, it has technically been crazy this past year and a half. but not year and a half, sorry, week and a half. But I feel like election years are normally a little bit crazier. Like there's
Yeah.
always like marches and strikes, and it's kind of been a little quiet up until the past week and a half. So
Yeah.
I hope that we all just get along, you know?
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing. I like look back at like earlier years as a country, and I just feel bad for us that like we are so divided, that people are willing to get violent. Like someone was hurt and killed like a week ago, and we are now like divided on that. And I'm just like, can't we just mourn the loss of a fellow American? Like, can't we feel bad for the incident that took place and like just be respectful and like not let red or blue be what like is happening right now? Like,
I'm full of hot takes right now because I have a lot of it. I am one of those people, Jackie knows, I got opinions on everything. So I don't think it has anything to do with politics. I think people are selfish people nowadays. I think that it doesn't matter if it's politics or if it's, you know, morals or values or whether your kid can have a cell phone or whether, you know, all different kinds of topics. Like everyone has their opinion and they're just selfish and don't think that like other people can have an opinion. That's where it lies. And I don't even think it's just like people always like to say like there's division in our country. And when people say that, I think it's coming from a place of politics. And I don't put it just on politics. I think it's a divide in everything.
oh, yeah.
I think it's
we are certainly
religion.
a more,
It's everything.
selfish society. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a person thinks like if I think this way, somebody else has to think this way. And like it's not the case. Like
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. And like we can live peacefully. Like there's plenty of things me and Jackie disagree with. Plenty. And perfect. You think that way, I think this way, no
Yeah.
problem. Like
No,
why
and
are
it
we going to
doesn't mean
argue
anything.
about
Yeah.
it? Like
No,
that doesn't
of course.
there's just no need for that. So I just think we're divided. And I don't even think it's a country. I think it's worldwide.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think there's division worldwide of, you know, people hate Americans as a whole when they only see what their media tells them. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I feel like a lot of countries do believe that way about America because they're being fed a specific angle on
Yes.
what the U.S. is doing.
Yeah.
And so then I'm just like, dang, like you guys aren't even getting accurate information on what's going on over here, but you're like willing to make fun of us. And I'm like, oh.
yeah,
All right, guys.
for sure. And you even saw that when you're in Australia.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you lived in a country that like you probably only received quote unquote bad media of Trump or bad
Yes.
like that was
Yeah.
just
Everything was
what-
poking fun at what America was up to. And I was just
Right.
like, wow, like this is wild. Like that this
and I think it's because we're being watched by the whole world. Like,
we are.
do you know how much madness goes on in England and like ridiculous stuff with like not knocking the royal family, but like a lot of stuff when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, and it's just, I think their locals know about it, but like it's not really like unless it's like, oh, Harry and Meghan are seen here or they're leaving the royal family. Like we don't get their like political news. And there's a lot of division right now, just all over the world. And I think we just have to go down to the basics that like, it's okay to disagree.
No, absolutely. I think
And it's
maybe
okay to
then
not
it's, like, a
hang out
lack
with
of-
somebody that you don't want to hang
Yeah.
out with.
I think it's a lack of like human decency a little bit is what we're going to see because it's getting shoved in our face. The same thing again. Social media, everyone has a phone out. Like we're all willing to be like, oh, did you see what that person did? Like, and I think that's just like the new society norm. Being selfish. We're not being decent to our fellow people, just people,
Yeah.
not even political like viewpoints or anything. And then it's just like, oh, like at least that's not me. Like, look at this person acting crazy, and that's it. Like, but then they can just, you know, put a title on it and claim a side, and that's it. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I
Yeah.
just hope that like, I don't want to walk around like that. So I just hope that I can just like be respectful and like, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah. And I
It's
think
wild.
that, I think in a perfect world, like, I don't think, I don't want to be like the negative Nancy, right? Where it's like, I don't believe that the world would get better. But at the same time, I just don't see how it can get better with social media and like one-sided news.
No, you're right. It's not. There's nothing that's going to get better with that. Like, there's
No,
no
because
fixing it.
it's too much. It's like we've talked about this in the past. Like, we were not, like, whether you believe in God or not, I just don't think we were designed to, like, know everything. Like,
One human being is not meant to cope with the emotional baggage of the entire
like
world.
a death of somebody in India or a family, or like, we're not, like, our capacity is not meant for
Yep.
that. Like,
Not at all. Nope.
and I think we need to just I'm not saying that you can't help or
Or
know,
even emotionally feel bad for a scenario that
Right.
has taken place.
but I think we really need to just, like, focus on our community. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Like,
agree.
stop worrying about, like, you
Yeah.
can help where's needed or whatever, but, like, you got to worry about this because,
Yes.
like, unfortunately, you can't change, you know, that, you know, I think a story I saw recently was, like, this whole 30, I don't know if they were, like, a soccer team or a family, like, Indian family, like, their car rolled off the side of the mountain. And it's like,
Oh, wow.
unfortunately, like, me knowing that or not knowing that doesn't change for me. Like,
No.
like, it's, our bodies, our minds are just not meant to receive
No.
all of this information. And we just need to focus on, like, what's happening here.
Yes,
Like,
I
my
agree.
family,
Yeah.
my
It's
friends,
too
and, like,
much.
pour your energy into that.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
and your
also it makes
community.
your life way less stressful too. I think if we constantly feed into everything that's happening in the entire world, generally speaking, a lot of it is negative. We're not really talking about happy stuff. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
scroll the news, when you scroll social media, like you're not seeing, like you said, this is a tragic incident that occurred in another country. And that's not, we're not going to like go praise the good stuff. We're going to focus on the sadness and feel bad for those families that lost their family members. But we can't, like you said, we don't have the capacity for that as human beings to like focus on that. Like we really need to like focus on what we can control. Like you said, our immediate friends and family, our little community, and that's it. Like we have to get back to the basics, like, and stop
Yeah.
worrying about everything that's happening on the internet, on the news. Like it's a sad way to live if we're constantly feeding our energy into all of that negativity. So
Yep. So I basically don't watch the news.
yeah, same. Which is probably like I wonder if people would be like, "Wow, like ignorant of you guys." But I just
No.
feel like I feel better at the end of the day, especially because my husband's deployed. Your husband's a firefighter. Like if we sat and watched the news all day long, like it would be so depressing. Like your husband runs into burning buildings for his career, and like my husband's in it, and I can't even like, yeah, it would be just way too much. Like that's just terrible. Like that's not a good way of life to sit in that like mentally
Yeah.
and emotionally all day every day. Like
Yeah, it's all negative. And it's like Jackie was, when all this was happening, she's like, have you seen TikTok and all of the conspiracies of the assassination?
Yeah.
I was like, no, and I don't want to, because I don't
Yeah.
want to like cloud my mind with like,
no.
they did it this, and this person did it, and this was their agenda, and this was, and I'm just like, it's too much.
No, it is absolutely too much.
Like,
so
I'm
that's
just gonna,
why
it
it's-
happened, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, we know the black and white, and that's kind of like where I like to stay. Is just
Yeah,
like I can't
exactly.
control what's currently happening right now, and that's fine. Like all I can do is go vote, and that's my move. All I can do is just not spread like gossip, and I'll just sit here in my own
Yep.
little bubble and just try not to be a negative person. That's all I can do.
yeah. I mean, I think we could go far with doing some kind of like just happy news. Like, can we just do a
Right.
news station where it's like all good stories?
Yeah, that's actually a cute idea. We're gonna add that to our podcast. We're gonna be
Yeah,
like,
and
on
I feel
today's
like-
segment of happy news. Like, did you
Yeah.
see this? Like,
And I feel like they can almost even do like factual,
yes,
no party affiliated. Like they could have said, like for example, with the whole Trump assassination, they could have talked about it, like literally factual, like this happened Thursday, but look how much money was raised for the families that this is where you can go
Yeah.
and donate. And like, it's just, it ends up, even if it's like a factual story, they turn it into what was good out of it.
Yeah.
And just make it a good news. Like, look at this person and this kind person that did this. And like, what's that, that Instagram profile that's like, It's like just like good acts of kindness that they show it all the time.
Oh, I
You know
know
what I'm
which
talking
one you're
about,
talking
right?
about, but I don't know what the name of the channel or the handle is. We'll have to
Me
find
either.
it so we can share it with everyone so they can check it
Yeah.
out. Like, it's a good
So
one
like
to follow.
like just good stories like that, you know? Like why do
Very
we have to?
wholesome. Yeah, and it puts your like hope back in humanity when you go and see
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Like
for sure.
that is kind of news that you leave like feeling good and like fuzzy instead of like you watch the news now and it's like doomsday. It's like
Yeah, like everything it just feels heavy and daunting, and then you almost feel like, okay, so what should I do? How do I fix this? And it's like
Yeah.
that's not possible. That's not the point. Like it's not up to us. Like
yeah, it's
but
like
it just
the top
feels
3 topics are like war, politics, and then it's like who was shot and killed in your community, literally.
yes,
Like,
yeah, for
like
local news. For
that
sure.
is the like realm of news lately, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like why I just don't. It's like we said, we're not meant to receive all of this information.
No.
So I choose to not participate in it,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's fine.
No, and
World
it
is
is what
crazy.
it is, and it is currently what's happening. You know, it is what's happening around us, and all we can do is, like you said, just choose not to participate and focus on you and your family and your kiddos, and like
Just do you,
it'll be
girl.
fine. Yeah, you do you, girl.
But I have an official hot take.
Ooh, hit me.
Okay, so, well, let's ask the question first. I'm not going to tell you what my opinion is, but
Okay.
I saw this on, I don't know where I saw this, but somebody asked the question, do you wash your legs every time you shower? Like physically go and scrub your legs and your feet. Like, is that something you do every time you shower?
I don't. I am, I guess, a nasty person.
So you let the suds fall down your legs.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I will say, I guess the difference would be, so if I'm self tanning, I will definitely exfoliate because I will go through the process because that's just what girls do. We in the shower, shaving our legs, exfoliating, getting ready for
Yeah.
tanning day for vacation. But as far as like the daily shower, unless I got super sweaty mowing the lawn and I have got like grass on my legs, I'm not washing my legs. The soap is definitely just running down my body, going
Running
down the
down.
drain. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the cleanliness of my legs on a typical day.
No, you're not gross at all. Like that's what I do. I don't self tan, but I will say that there's not like a well thought out thing. But I would say that if I shave, I obviously shave my legs. And like you said, if I get dirty or something like that. But like if I'm running in and doing a quick shower, it's like from here and above.
Yeah. Same.
And the rest, like the suds are just falling down. And also maybe if I still have some, I use body soap. So like if like body gel or whatever. So if I still have enough on my hands, then it'll go on my legs. But if I like
Oh, yeah.
run out here, then I'm not going back for more.
Yeah, like I'm not intentionally grabbing more soap to then clean the bottoms of my feet.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that the vote I saw on it was something like 60% of people say they don't, like they
Yeah.
let the suds wash.
how interesting. So we're all just gross together.
Yeah. I asked my brother then, he was like, ew, that's gross. You don't wash your legs every time? And I was like, why? Also, like
Yeah.
half the time they're covered in like jeans or leggings or I don't
Yeah.
know. And I shave like probably
Yeah.
every couple of days. So
So your legs are getting cleaned.
yeah.
Yeah, like so it's not even like and like
We're
we
not
talked about too, we're not
gross.
getting dirty. Like
Yeah.
so, how interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to say too, like, no dermatologist has come out and been like, hey, like your guys' legs have, you know, some sort of new disease because you're not washing your legs. Like no one has ever said anything. Like I feel like doctors
Honestly,
aren't
my
talking
legs-
about it. Like the girls at the salon when we're getting pedicures, I've never once been told like, ew, this girl's feet are gross. Like there's never been like a dirty feet conversation.
No, the suds
So-
fall down on
Yeah.
the shower and your feet are like rubbing and soaking in them the whole time.
And the water's still, gravity's still taking place on your legs and your feet. Like it is still going on and down. So I
Yeah.
feel like technically they're clean.
I think so too. I honestly, my legs is probably the best skin on my whole body.
Same.
They'll tell you that that washing every day is technically not good for us. So
Yeah, it's not good for our pH.
exactly, it gets rid of all the good bacteria in our skin, which is what keeps us healthy and our immune system good. So we're just helping our health. It's
Yeah, we're
fine.
being healthy.
Yeah.
We're being natural girlies.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, and we hope you had fun listening. And I'm watching my video get messed up as we speak.
Oh no, technical difficulties.
But thank you for joining us, and like always, follow us on all the socials and
TikTok, Instagram,
Yes.
YouTube, all of it.
yeah, all the things. So we hope you liked it, and we'll chat next week. Bye.
Yeah, bye.